Hello? Hello?
Podcast Network Asia.
This episode is brought to you by Podmetrics. Podmetrics is a podcast analytics platform that enables podcasters to see all the relevant data they need to know about their podcast's audience. Sign up now at podmetrics.co and use the referral code Wrestling2XPod. Again, the code Wrestling2XPod.
What's going on? This is Xavier Woods, aka Austin Creed.
I said, give me a hell yeah!
Hey, this is Zeta Zane.
Hello, WWE Universe in the Philippines. This is Charlotte.
Talent is not sexually transmitted.
You need to go back to the drawing board because your game absolutely sucks!
Hey everyone, this is Jeff Cobb, and you're listening to the Wrestling Podcast.
You are watching and listening to the longest running weekly episodic Filipino wrestling podcast. This is the Wrestling Podcast. Stan C, Romoran, and Chino Liao coming to you on another Thursday live stream. You can watch us right here on facebook.com/Wrestling Podcast. And normally nasa Kumu tayo at Wrestling Pod, pero may konting technical difficulties. So Ro and Babyface producer Sol are gonna try to figure that out. So while they're doing that, yun, si Boss Waki tinatanong bakit nga walang Kumu. Di rin namin alam.
Ayun, live, we're live on Kumu. If you guys want to watch there, you can watch there and send us yung halo and all that good stuff. Smash those hearts.
That's right.
You know what to do.
Shout out to Jackie, who's recognizing the Rocco's Modern Life shirt that I'm wearing. Yes. Buti naman may nakapansin.
No, napansin ko. I just didn't want to call it out.
Yeah, I love Rocco's Modern Life. Got to pick this up nung last trip ko sa LA a couple of years ago. Anyway, let's get down to business first. We've got some prizes to give away. So we have to redraw one of our winners from last week's New Era Cap promo. So Babyface producer Sola, let's put up yung smaller list of names from last week. We need to select one winner. And syempre, in the name of transparency, meron tayong magic roulette at mapapanood natin kung sino yung second winner from last week. So Babyface producer Sola, spin that wheel. All right, habang spin niya, let's see. Our winner is one of our regulars, Yuan Nicanor. Congratulations!
Hey, congratulations!
Congrats!
That means we can take you out of the next draw.
Yuan, nanalo ka na. Well, we know Yuan's watching live. So Babyface producer Sola, can you please remove Yuan's name from this week's draw? And we're looking for two winners of the Hulk Hogan caps, courtesy of our friends from New Era Cap. Shout out to Christian Escalante and the rest of the team for partnering with us for the last month and just giving all of these New Era goodies away. And while you're at it, if you are at a New Era store near you, check out the second WWE collection that they dropped a couple of weeks ago. If you are a Stone Cold, The Rock, or Undertaker fan, then that's probably more your speed. Personally, I'm going to buy an Austin cap over the weekend for my dad for Father's Day. So baka kita tayo at a New Era Cap store near you. All right, Babyface producer Sola, let's put up the wheel for this week. And spin that wheel. Sabi ni Yuan, he's never experienced winning a lottery. Correct natin yan. Until tonight. Our first winner is Joey Andaya Carpio. Congratulations.
Hey, congrats.
Yeah,
Facebook ba to?
One winner. Yes, galing Facebook to.
Oh, yeah.
And our second winner, sige, let's remove Joey's name and spin that wheel. Ito na, our last winner for our 1 month of New Era Cap giveaways. Our winner is Leo J. Guevara.
Hey! Congratulations, Leo J.
Congrats.
Kay Leo J dapat tatapat tapos napunta kay Joey. So ngayon si Leo J na yung winner. All right, so those are our two winners. We'll get in touch with you in the comment section on facebook.com/the Wrestling Podcast. And for everybody who joined, thank you very much for being part of the New Era Cap promo as well. Don't forget to follow them at New Era Cap PH. And syempre, please follow us na rin at Wrestling Podcast on Facebook, Instagram and Spotify, then on Twitter and TikTok at Wrestling2XPod. Okay, dami natin pag-uusapan this week. Where do you guys want to start? You want to start with NXT TakeOver? You want to start with Trexus or Shingo Takagi? Saan niyo gusto magsimula?
Let's go with the Southeast Asian on NXT kasi sandali lang yan.
Sige.
And it's still a big deal.
Yes. So thank you for bringing that up. It is a big deal. So this week, in case you haven't seen it or in case you didn't know, there was actually a huge moment for the Southeast Asian wrestling scene because former Singapore Pro Wrestling or SPW star Trexus made his on-screen debut on WWE NXT. Kung napanood niyo yung segment na pumasok ng Capital Performance Center or Wrestling Center rather, sina LA Knight and Cameron Grimes, yung CQ na nag-escort sa kanila papasok. That was actually Trexus. And if you were watching PWR nung 2019, late 2019, he was actually here in the Philippines alongside Andrew Tang at a PWR show. So for starters, malaking bagay ito because he's the first born and bred Southeast Asian talent.
Wait, are we not counting Hong Kong as Southeast Asia? People.
Yes, I know. I would count it. Sorry, Stan.
Yeah, I count it as yes.
Yeah.
But Hong Kong is part of China and China's East Asia, diba?
But Hong Kong was Hong Kong before China, diba?
And if you ask China, the Philippines is part of China. So saan tayo magdodrow ng line doon?
Jeez. Okay, fine. Siya yung second after Ho Ho Lun. So after Ho Ho Lun, Trexus is the second Southeast Asian born and bred talent to make it to WWE. And there have been rumors for a while in the Southeast Asian circles na hala, baka na-sign na si Trexus. He was actually part of that 2019 tryout batch that Jake De Leon and Ken Warren were a part of in Shanghai in 2019. And it's nice to know na one of them actually made it, that being Trexus.
Yeah, I actually got work when they had their career versus championship match, I think last month, him and Andrew Tang in the SPW web shows. So na-work ako, akala ko kasi tagal na nung tryout na yun, diba?
Yeah.
It was 2 years ago, and obviously it was kind of delayed because of the pandemic, but one would think that they would have found a way to get Trexus over to the US. So it was out of my mind na sign na pala siya kasi yun nga tagal nga eh. So really good surprise there. I think he is a good pickup for WWE. He has the size, he has the skill, he has the agility, the mobility. He can make for a really, really good WWE WWE superstar. So congrats to Trexus. It means that there is hope then for a lot of us here if we all just put in the work and get back to wrestling when the gyms open again and all that good stuff.
Yeah, hopefully. I think everyone who I've ever spoken to about the return of wrestling, at least here in the country, I think your forecast natin is now 2023. Diba? Given the required time to shake away the ring rust and then for quarantine protocol to loosen, for vaccinations to happen, feeling ko yung pinaka-optimistic na for the Philippines 2023. So until then, just keep working on your bodies.
Well, we have to wait for the gyms to open for one thing, diba?
Isa pa yon.
Kaya niyan, kaya nga ni Rendon Labrador yan eh.
Focus
yan.
Hey, again, congratulations to Trexus and congratulations to the people over in Singapore, in SPW, homegrown talent nila yun. So we got to show them love for that. And all right, let's stick with NXT then, since we already mentioned it. And let's talk about the big show happening on Monday, Manila time. And that is NXT TakeOver in Your House 2. So 5 matches as usual, stacked card. And let's start with LA Knight and Cameron Grimes since pinag-usapan na natin sila. The $1 Million Championship ladder match. What do you guys think about the $1 Million title making its return to television and being unveiled on NXT this week?
Okay, can I start by saying I don't know what the point of this whole title is. Like, is it like a regular title? Is it obviously it's a gimmick title? What you get if you win it, diba? Parang may stakes involved ba to? Kasi even when the $1 Million title was a thing, guys, in the comments, correct me if I'm wrong, it was still just symbolic, diba? It wasn't really representative of a division or anything. People didn't really fight for it. It was just something the $1 Million Man gave away, like to his proteges, like the Ringmaster who became Stone Cold, diba? So I don't know what the end game is for this feud. Pero feeling ko dadatingin sa point na magka-tag team sila ala the bar and they become the $1 million corporation again. I don't know. It's such a weird feud to have in the middle of this card.
Yeah, I actually agree with that. At first, it was just Cameron Grimes simping for Ted DiBiase's attention, and then all of a sudden, dito si LA Knight, and then all of a sudden, there is a $1 million championship, and I don't think it's going to be a regular championship. It's just going to be a thing that they do in the NXT mid card, and I guess it's something for them to do. It's something for them to busy themselves with, and okay lang. It's entertaining. Well, they made it entertaining. Cameron Grimes made it entertaining. Ted DiBiase made it entertaining. I'm just not all in on the whole sudden feud with LA Knight. But if we were to care about it, then Cameron Grimes is likely not winning here because it's so funny to watch him fail.
Considering na babyface na siya at this point, or siya yung de facto babyface dito. Sabi ni Yuan in the comments, the point of the title is to find out sino yung mas mayaman. And I don't think you really need to beat each other up to find out kung sino mas mayaman. Why don't you just compare bank statements?
Exactly, di ba? Parang, ba't ka pa akit ng ladder if you're just gonna pull out money, di ba? I mean...
It's kind of silly. So who do you think is winning, Chino?
I'd say LA Knight wins. Kasi nga, Cameron Grimes is just, hindi naman siya, I would say this in the best way possible, lovable loser. Like you want to see him lose all the time because he's such a smarmy face now. I guess you could say out of the two. Although I could also agree that they could have done a better job building this up.
Ikaw, Ro.
I already said I don't think Cameron Grimes is winning. And to Jace's point in the comments, hindi siya heel versus heel because Cameron Grimes turned face last week. He doesn't feel like a traditional baby face, pero he also is clearly not a heel anymore if you have him standing next to LA Knight.
Oh, I'm gonna root for Cameron Grimes here. I think he just needs a win. I don't think he's had like yung signature
Mayaman na
win.
siya eh. Mayaman na siya.
Game spot na ba yung signature win niya?
Oh.
Okay, let's move on to the big 6-man tag. It's winner take all. I like this unique spin. Legado del Fantasma versus Bronson Reed and MSK. And then the winning team gets the North American title and the NXT Tag Team Championships. What are your thoughts on this stipulation, Ro?
Okay, I liked it kasi for one, if this didn't happen, I knew that TakeOver was going to be a bunch of singles matches na mahaba. So I like that they put a spin on it. They tried to book as many people as possible. They tried to put some variety in it. So it to me is already feeling like mas maganda tong card na to kasi sa NXT TakeOver Stand and Deliver. So I also kind of like the idea of winner take all kasi Legado is obviously competing for all the belts. So why not, diba? Might as well try to give it a different approach. So might as well segue to my pick. I think this is where Legado wins without Bronson Reed eating a pin because I think they have to protect Bronson. He is too big to be taken down by 3 smaller guys. So one of the MSK boys is going to be the one to eat the pin. And Legado will be finally the champions.
Ikaw, Chino.
It's an interesting take because I went into this thinking that MSK and Bronson retain. Parang it's like...
Actually, yeah, go.
I feel like I don't see Legado all belts happening this time around. It doesn't feel like it's the right moment for it.
Ako naman, I'm probably gonna agree with Chino here in the sense na I think the baby faces win, and yung same principle na you think one of the MSK boys will eat the pin. I think one of Joaquin or Raul Mendoza will probably eat the pin here.
Yeah, to protect Santos, right? Yeah, it makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I actually think na it's also likely gonna happen. So either way talaga, but I do want Legado to win.
Yeah, no, sabi ni Jace sa comments, too early for Bronson Reed to lose the title. I agree, actually. He's only had it, less than a month now? So parang he hasn't really done anything with it. Diba? He hasn't really defended it except for this time around. So parang sayang naman if he loses the title kasi hindi pa siya mapipin. Diba? So...
then again, yung mga short title reigns, they do happen on NXT, diba? Look at Johnny Gargano, look at Keith Lee. So may history din naman. So it's very up in the air, which I think is a good thing pa rin considering na yun nga, they did try to innovate with this stipulation. So let's see, come Monday. Next up, you've got a singles match between Mercedes Martinez and Xia Li.
Is that really happening on this card?
Yeah,
Yes.
it's the best surprising. That's also probably why they love the North American and tag team title matches together.
Para may special singles match.
To make room for ano pangalan ng master ni Xia Li, si Sensei.
Mei Ying.
Mei.
Kensha's a stable. Mei Ying is
right.
Mei Yi. They have to make room for Mei Yi and Xia Li and Boa on this card. I don't know, man. It's so hard to care about this feud. I'm sorry.
Wait, they're trying. They're actually bringing out the 2017 Mae Young Classic, which I'll give them props for.
Yeah, I know they are, but I care more about the $1 million title match than this. I'm sorry. It's just
how does it not...
It might be a cinematic match. Huh.
Yeah, how does Xia Li not win here? Because she is the supernatural
actress, diba? Tsaka they're building her strong, eh. Pero at the same time, they're also building Mercedes strong. So
I don't think she needs to win, eh. See, Mercedes Martinez, I think
true.
she has credibility on her own just by being Mercedes.
That's true.
Baka raw matransport sila into a different dimension. Parang hindi naman sila yung intergalactic beings. Parang supernatural lang naman.
Di sila time variance authority.
Yeah.
Oh, di sila TVA. Okay, let's stick with the women here and talk about the NXT Women's Championship. Ember Moon versus Raquel Gonzalez. Who do you think is winning, Ro?
Oh, Raquel, syempre. If you guys think it is too early for Bronson to lose the title, then it's too early for Raquel to lose her title as well.
Yeah, same. It not only is it too early for Raquel to lose her title, it's too early for Ember Moon to become a 2-time women's champion. I don't think she's earned that recognition just yet. But I will say that this might be a statement victory for Raquel Gonzalez because she's gonna defeat a former NXT Women's Champion, diba? So
yep.
More than anything, it's just to solidify her title reign.
Yeah, feeling ko this is part of yung redemption story ni Ember na they have to kick her down first, diba? They took out Shotzi, then they're gonna make her lose to Raquel so that eventually you'll get sympathetic, diba, for Ember Moon. So I think it's Raquel's pa rin to win here. And finally, the big fatal 5-way main event for the NXT Championship: Kyle O'Reilly versus Johnny Gargano versus Pete Dunne versus Adam Cole versus Karrion Kross for the title. Ro, alam ko may feelings ka about this one, so we'll start with you.
Basta hindi si Adam Cole, yun yung pick ko. No, seriously. Actually, I want to address a comment I saw earlier. Someone was asking, I think it was Yuan or someone here, who is gonna? I think Siwaki in the Kumu's comments, he's asking, is anyone gonna get called up after the whole Release Mania happening last week? I think this match is a good way for someone to graduate NXT. If Cross doesn't retain, I think Cross is moving up.
Yeah.
But
already?
Yeah, already. He's been there a while.
I agree.
And remember, the original rumors were for him to graduate really fast and move to SmackDown. So, posible yun. Kung matalo siya, posible yun. Pero ang prediction ko rin is hindi siya matatalo. So, my pick is Cross retains. Someone might move up. I don't know who, but it's bound to happen. If Cross wins, if Cross loses, then he goes up, and I'll be okay with that too.
I am going to agree with Ro here and say that this is actually good folly for NXT to put somebody like Kyle O'Reilly, and that's my pick, Kyle O'Reilly as the champion, which might be their end game. Again, it might be the way they're going to go with Kyle O'Reilly here. Kasi 6 sila eh, diba? Or 5. 5 sila eh. So parang sobrang gulo-gulo na yan pagdating ng match itself. Cross doesn't even have to get pinned here. Diba? And he can still be protected and they can call him up come the draft after SummerSlam, which is the big show for this year na. Diba? So that's the plans moving ahead. Those are the plans moving ahead. So that's what I'm gonna say. I'm feeling like Cross will drop the title and he gets called up during the draft after SummerSlam.
nasasayangan ako with the idea na Karrion Kross will lose na kasi it's been so long now. We had a babyface champion in Finn, and then this big evil boss Hoss in Karrion Kross, and then wala, matatalo lang agad. So my pick is for Kross to retain. So yun, it's very interesting the way that you guys have thought this out, because I didn't even think about it in those manners, lalo na with the draft coming up. Hindi ko naisip na Karrion Kross will be called up to the main roster. So that's very interesting for me. I'm also curious to see kung ano yung plano nila for Pete Dunne. Kasi medyo overdue na rin siya to be like yung pinaka-main bad guy on NXT. So I think this could also be an avenue for him to win the title. But before that happens, gusto ko rin ma-resolve kung bakit lahat ng sentence ni Pete Dunne ends it in a question mark.
Tsaka bakit puro shoulder shrug siya, diba? Parang wala ka bang emotions, Pete Dunne?
Meron nga, lagi siya tatanong, yun yung emotion niya.
He just seems confused more than intimidating. Just always confused. Pero maganda din to. Because if Kyle O'Reilly wins, or if, kasi sabihin natin, Adam Cole wins, Pete Dunne will end up chasing. Diba? Pete Dunne will still end up chasing. So it's still win-win for Pete Dunne. Diba? If mangyari nga yung scenario na matatalo si Karrion Kross.
I'd rather
Let
have
us know what you think,
though.
Let us know what you think in the comment section. Who do you want to win this fatal five-way? It can really go in so many different directions, probably other than Johnny Gargano winning the title again. Feeling ko yun lang hindi mangyayari talaga. So hit us up.
Adam Cole not winning. No way.
Yeah. Adam Cole or si Johnny Gargano, parang hindi sila mananalo. But the other three, they might actually have a shot here.
And if you want to watch this with us, you can do that on our Wrestling Podcast Patreon. So we have a Discord where we have the watch parties. You can actually sign up right now for as low as 250 pesos a month over at patreon.com/wrestling podcast. You get a free face mask. You get to be part of our Discord community. You get the watch parties. Yung mga goodies like how you can watch special documentaries. Yun, sa Discord rin namin yung share.
May paloki nga minsan eh. Ganda nga yung Discord. Daming lumalabas.
Sobrang sulit niya for 250 pesos a month. Head on over to patreon.com/wrestling podcast. We're going to take a break. We'll come right back and talk about Shingo Takagi winning the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship. But first, here's a way you can support the podcast, this time through our friends naman from Zalora.
All right, guys. Last week was my birthday, and I was shopping for some shoes last week or recently on Zalora, and I managed to find a good pair. And when I typed in our special checkout code WRESTLING, I got a huge discount of 25% off. Tapos may 10% cashback pa na bibigay sa akin after I buy it. So you can get that too. You can support our podcast and get those free discounts as well by typing in the checkout code WRESTLING. Again, that's WRESTLING. I don't got to spell that for you when you shop at Zalora. It's one way to support the podcast. Please do it now.
All right, now let's take another break and hear a word from our other podcasts on Podcast Network Asia.
What do you get when you combine ghosts, a haunted house, deadly nightmares, and a Pinoy psycho with true crime? You get another killer season of The Last 24 Hours. This June, listen to 5 new stories of true crime in 12 episodes that will shock and scare. Available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and everywhere else you get your podcast fix.
Let's get to some shout-outs over on Kumu.
All right, people be active on Kumu, saying hey to Admin Angelo, who's transferred over there. Sabi na cross easy win. Sana lang. Boss Waki Mendoza is here on Kumu commenting and asking his questions, making his comments. He also sent us halo. Thanks for that, Boss Waki. Romulition sent us Galaxy A sticker. So I don't know what that is. Bago yun. Kyle has also sent us halo. Kahit malamig daw, bibigyan na tayo ng halo. So maraming halo binibigay nila. Thank you guys for all of that and for tuning in on the stream on Kumu and accompanying us as we talk about wrestling tonight.
All right, let's get to the comments here. There's an interesting question from Julian who asks about the rumors that WWE reportedly wants Aleister Black back in the company. What are our thoughts on this, Chino?
Saan to?
First of all, I don't think that's actually a proven rumor.
I see it.
Okay, so parang second, I also feel like Tommy End now, as he is known, is okay with where he's at in life. I was listening to his podcast with Rene Paquette, and he actually seemed very at ease with the decision. Hindi naman at ease na, okay lang na ma-fire ako, lang pakialam. But at ease in the sense na he's not bitter about it or that he feels like WWE let him down, diba? Yes, of course, there's some resentment there kasi nawalan siya ng trabaho. But at the end of the day, I feel like Aleister Black understands his place in the overall hierarchy of things. And he also felt that he would do a lot more things down the road, diba? And he's actually open to a return. But then yun nga, at the same time, he's also accepting of what has happened.
Let's clarify this rumor because I'm reading it right now. The rumor from pwinsider.com says in certain corners of the company, there has been some talk that Aleister Black was cut prematurely and there is a push that the company should bring him back. So, para malinaw, merong mga tao na nafe-feel nila na masyadong maaga yung pag-cut sa kanya, pag-fire kay Aleister Black. And gusto lang nila na ibalik siya. And that doesn't mean that Vince McMahon or whoever is in charge of the cuts actually want them back. It's just that there are people in WWE who just want them back. So, yun, it's not necessarily the company saying that, oh, they made a mistake. It's just people really giving their opinions on the whole thing. So I wouldn't put too much stock into this. I don't think he's going to come back, especially after being released so soon. Yun, I wouldn't hope for it, guys.
So let's stick with the rumors a bit. There's another piece of news that came out this week na WWE is intending to really go all out on SummerSlam. So kung ano yung laki ng WrestleMania, tatapatan nila, and they want reportedly to make SummerSlam 2021 this year's WrestleMania. Ro, what do you think about this?
By that time, the US will be way more vaccinated than it is now. So I think there is a strong foundation there to put up a show as huge as WrestleMania on SummerSlam weekend. So okay, kung gusto nila bumawi sa tickets na hindi nila nabenta at WrestleMania, go for it. It's totally fine. I can't really fault them kasi yun nga, marami nang nagpapabakuna sa US and dito na mahirap pa rin. So it's cool. Bring John Cena back, bring Sasha Banks back, bring Brock Lesnar back, bring in Cardi B. Go do what you have to do to make do what you have to do to make it to make it as big as you can, because I think the wrestlers deserve it as well.
Yeah, SummerSlam is going to be held at Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas, Nevada. So it's a brand new stadium. It's huge. So talagang ka-level niya yung mga MetLife or the Raymond James Stadium in Tampa. They are gunning for around 72,000 people. And as Rose said, the US is way ahead of us here in the Philippines. So I guess mas kampante ako with them. By then, WWE will have been back on the road for about a month. Kasi August ang SummerSlam, diba? Chino, you have any thoughts on this?
Yes. I feel like them making it this year's WrestleMania kind of negates what they already did for this year's WrestleMania. It already happened. So it's kind of dumb for me to forget. Was WrestleMania perfect? No. Was it good? It was enjoyable. I liked this year's WrestleMania so much so that I wish it happens every year. Na 2 nights in a row siya, na it's a big activity. It's a festivity that people can go to and enjoy and immerse themselves in. So I don't know why they have to say that this will be the WrestleMania of this year when they recently just had a WrestleMania, diba? So
No, I don't think they're gonna brand it as WrestleMania outright. I think what they mean by that is na you bring in as many people in the crowd as possible, tapos it becomes the biggest event of the year kasi the US in August 2021 is way more vaccinated than the US in April 2021. So it's just gonna be that much bigger right now, considering yung parameters ng pandemic ngayon. Steven asked if SummerSlam is going to be 2 nights. They better make it 2 nights if it's going to be that huge. But I think it's also going to be on a Saturday. Tatapatan na yung laban ni Pacquiao. Tatapatan na yung laban ni Pacquiao. So I think it's going to start earlier.
Let's go WWE.
Yeah, let's go WWE.
I mean, you say all you want about Pacquiao, but there's no way you're beating that in like pay-per-view sales. Mahirap talunin si Manny.
I guess.
It's boxing, man. So anyway, may tanong dito si Jace kung walang bubong yung stadium.
Meron.
It's a football stadium, so malamang wala.
Meron. I looked at the pictures. Meron, okay. May bubong yung Allegiant Stadium. Yuan is saying, imagine if they named it WrestleMania SummerSlam. Well, they already started with WrestleMania Backlash. So they might as well name every
yun
single
nga.
pay-per-view WrestleMania : name.
Yeah, that's my point. It's not beyond them to name it WrestleMania SummerSlam since they already called it WrestleMania Backlash, diba? What's to stop them from naming every single pay-per-view WrestleMania this or that, diba? So parang it negates WrestleMania because I loved WrestleMania.
Yeah. Kevin is saying a heel John Cena would be great. I don't think so because you already have a big bad heel in Bobby Lashley and another big bad heel in Roman Reigns. If anything, you'd want a face John Cena to go up against Roman Reigns.
Yun yung rumored main event, Roman Reigns versus John Cena. Yeah, that's the big WrestleMania moment right there.
Yeah. But on the way there, one of the rumors then right now is that Roman Reigns is reportedly facing Rey Mysterio next. So yung SmackDown this week really set up the Mysterios to be the baby faces against the Bloodline. So I think this is good. It's a nice little stopgap for Roman. He has 2 months to get to SummerSlam, so it's something to keep everybody busy in the meantime, diba?
Yeah, I guess the Usos are going to win the championships sooner than later. And then before that or after that, Roman Reigns is going to fight Rey Mysterio for the next couple of months, I guess.
Feeling ko I don't know. I actually saw it happening after Roman faces Rey, where they dropped the tag titles.
Yeah, pwede rin.
Sobrang tigas nun pag nag-SummerSlam na and then the Usos and Roman all walk in as champions.
Yeah. No, feeling ko that's where the Usos take the titles away from the Mysterios. I feel like that's like a moment worth building up to.
Yeah. All right, let's go to some news outside of WWE and let's talk about New Japan Pro Wrestling, who just crowned Shingo Takagi the new IWGP World Heavyweight Champion. So if you weren't watching this past week, they had Dominion on July 7 at Osaka Joe Hall, and Shingo beat Kazuchika Okada in the main event. So I think this is really, really huge because Shingo is probably the closest we'll get to somebody like Ishii or Minoru Suzuki being the world champion.
Okay, this is really cool because I thought that after Bill Ospreay vacated the championship, akala ko they're gonna go to someone that would be a pillar, one of the foundations of NJPW, and then hold the company steady, because that's what you would do if you needed a champion in a pitch, diba? So I'm really enthused and amazed that they actually decided to keep pushing their not the younger talent, because Shingo isn't a spring chicken by any means, but the talent that have not been champions before. So they're making new stars. They are listening to the people, giving the people what they want. And yeah, we have a brand new IWGP World Heavyweight Champion. It's not Okada for whatever reason. And it is one good reason to keep watching New Japan after Will Ospreay became champion.
Chino, do you have any feelings about this?
Yeah, well, congrats kay Shingo. I don't know. As much as I don't watch Raw, I also don't watch New Japan more. So congrats na lang kay Shingo.
Congrats naman talaga sa kanya.
Yeah. To build up on Rose's point, diba, when he talks about the pillars, laging parang may big four sa New Japan, and the way it is right now, you've got Okada, Naito, Ibushi, and Jay White. Like, those are your big four. So the fact that they brought someone from outside the big four into the championship spot is huge. Think of it in the terms of WWE. Na normally, diba, before the rise of the Shield, it was always John Cena, Randy Orton, Triple H. One of those three was always on top. And then every time it was someone outside that three, parang, wow, what a big deal. So yun yung equivalent dito sa moment na to. So kaya siya talagang sineselebrate. And last year, nung Dominion, Evil won the World Championship, diba, from Naito. So it's 2 Dominions in a row na New Japan is trying new stars out. And I hope that the Shingo experiment goes way better than the Evil experiment.
Or the Will Ospreay experiment. Although people liked Ospreay, I guess. You guys can do with that what you will.
Yeah, I mean, Ospreay is still popular. I'll give him that, diba? Okay, let's go to AEW. Have we talked about Andrade on the podcast? Hindi pa, diba?
Hindi pa. It only happened last week, so hindi pa.
Yeah, nung Saturday.
Sa sobrang daming nangyari, parang ang hirap mag-keep track if we've talked about it or not. But Andrade El Idolo is all elite. I have to shout out that gorgeous 3-piece forest green suit. Sobrang ganda. But I'm kind of bitter na Mark Henry came out to no music and Andrade also came out to no music. Like what the hell, Tony Khan? You have all this money to license Wild Thing and Tarzan Boy and Where Is My Mind, and you can't give Andrade a freaking theme song when he's supposed to be a huge deal.
Naubos na yung budget niya doon. Wala na yung music budget niya for 2021. Naubos na doon yung dalawa.
But yeah, your thoughts on this acquisition, Chino?
I like it. I like how Andrade ended up in AEW. However, like we've said before, there is a caveat of a lot of people in AEW still have to get their due. Diba? Yung mga Scorpio Skies and yung mga who else? Miro's a champion now, so I guess hindi na siya kasama doon. But like a lot of people, there are a lot of kids in the pool.
Dude, Lance Archer's been there over 2 years.
Diba? Lance Archer. We forgot about Lance Archer. And he's eaten two big losses in his AEW career. So, ang dami nila doon. So, I have a problem figuring out Andrade's place in the card. That said, you love to see a guy get his recognition, diba? And he sided with Vicky Guerrero, which is another good move for them. Because Andrade really isn't strong on the mic and Vicky is very good on the mic. So I feel like this partnership might bear fruit if they play it out right.
Ro, I know you have some the reported contract details of Andrade.
Yeah. Before that, Ewan says the people were booing Vicky Guerrero so much that they weren't able to process Andrade's arrival. What? They weren't able to process Andrade's arrival kasi wala siyang music. We were all waiting. When Vicky first said his name, I thought she was joking. I thought she was trolling us kasi walang tumugtog na music. And that's how people usually troll the fans when they're announcing someone who isn't really there. So that was a really huge ball drop by Tony Khan there. And I thought he would have known better after, licensing real world songs for some of his boys and girls, diba?
Tsaka wrestling fan si TK, dapat alam niya na you need music.
Exactly.
I'm gonna say that I feel like this is a technical issue more than a TK issue. Like they probably seriously, somebody probably effed up in the truck somewhere.
Naiwan yung USB.
Naghang yung
nalimutan i-burn yung CD.
Yeah, diba? Some it's probably a technical issue. I wouldn't put it past Tony Khan and his boys to have music prepared for these guys.
Kasalanan ng Nakazawa.
I wanna ask JK kung naabutan pa niya nagbaburn ng CDs. Anyway. Okay. Stan mentioned the contract details of Andrade. So according to rumors and reports, ang kuya nyo, he wanted creative control over his matches and veto power over whether or not he would lose in shows. So ang dami niyang gusto. And I don't know where he thinks he is that big of a star that he could demand something like that when someone like Edge couldn't even, include a creative control clause in his own contract. So that's super weird to me. It's always not a good idea when a wrestler is demanding a creative control clause because they're always going to try and protect themselves. Because they think they're likely to be super insecure about where they stand, and any loss they could take personally. So it's a good thing that Tony Khan was able to compromise with Andrade there and just gave him creative control on how his finishes would go. Paano siya binubok. So I think that's a fair trade to ask for someone like Andrade. Although I don't see him being pushed that heavily just yet, especially as Chino mentioned, there are so many kids in the pool. I don't know where you even start with Andrade. Who do you feud with first? Since ang dami-dami na nangyayari sa AEW, you need that second show before you go on trying something new.
Yeah, and for people in the comments who probably can't process muna yung idea na, wait lang, bakit bad for a wrestler to have creative control? Dude, look at Hulk Hogan, WCW and TNA days. That's your biggest example. That's the biggest indicator na creative control or full creative control is not the best thing to give to a wrestler.
Let's just say that it's really easy for a wrestler to be pessimistic about where their career is on a show, on a given roster brand,
Yeah. Let's stick with AEW here, and let's talk about Lio Rush. So we last saw him at Double or Nothing. He was the Joker. He was the surprise entrant nung Casino Battle Royal, and apparently he had injured his shoulder in that match. And following yung test results niya, he made the decision to retire this week, which shocked the wrestling world because he's only 27. He's only really been in the business for about 7 years. So, kind of weird na nangyari to. But, every time someone says na, I have to think about my body, I have to think about my family, ako hindi ko siya masisi.
Yeah.
No, I wouldn't. Yeah, no, I actually don't blame him for thinking about his family first. Because like he mentioned, he has a newborn child, diba?
Yeah.
And he wants
to
grow up
na siya before that.
Diba? And he wants to grow up playing with his kids, diba? And you hear stories of wrestlers who by the time they're 40, especially guys like Lio Rush, who jump around and do flips and stuff. By the time they get to their 40s, mahina na yung tuhod nila, they can hardly walk up straight, diba? Kasi their bodies just give out. So it's understandable why somebody like Leo had to walk away from wrestling. I know that he has other creative endeavors, diba? He put out a song a few months ago. So he says that he's going to focus on that. So good luck to him, diba? Sana he does as well as he did as a wrestler.
Chino's totally right. I haven't been injured like that yet, ever. Knock on wood. Pero if that ever happened to me, if I tore my ACL or something, or an injury in which I would need major surgery and rehab, I would probably think about calling it quits. Because I don't know how athletes get back in the ring, on the court, on the floor, on the field, and after a big injury and not think that they would be safe from another one, diba? So napaka